Hi, I'm Ronnie Santmeyer, back for part 2 of the Neotek Series II EQ examples. Leave it up to me to make epic long videos. Some people ask me to shoot out some gear on some stuff, and I try to do it in 10-15 minutes. I can't even do it in 20. I don't know why. By twiddling knobs and just showing examples, and almost like, I'm not really mixing for real, but I decided to make this part 2. I was gonna show buddy Rich Hannon's session with his drums and bass and some guitars. And I started the drums and bass, but I was like, let me just make it its own little video just to show the Neotek on that for fun. Just to give as many examples as I can, you know, instead of just twiddling a knob for 5 minutes. Is really hard to do, and, you know, because pieces of gear don't always work on every, you know, source perfectly. So I figured I'd just run it through a couple different things and just give you an idea what it sounds like. Anyway, here it is. So now I'm going to show another one real quick. This is another old tune. This goes way back to 2005 or 6. This is actually when I moved from Pro Tools on a big, large TDM system back in the day, and I was just moving to Cubase and learning Cubase actually. Went from the Mac to a PC, and we tracked all this in Pro Tools, and I moved it over to PC to mix, just to kind of try out Cubase way back then. That was a long time ago. So here's the kick on this stuff. It's the inside, together. And let's do 12 again. I feel like these are going to be weird videos because I have obviously we all have a certain thing we do, and I probably have a definite thing that I'm probably going back to the same EQ settings every time, just because we all hear things, you know, a certain way, and hopefully I'm not making every one of the examples make the kick drum sound exactly the same, but it's not my goal, but. All right, there's already some top there. Let me see if I can add this. Sometimes it's a matter of just playing with this balance here too. It's got a lot of top already in it. That's where I just have a loop repeating when you hear it click like that. Seeing what happens if I roll a little tiny bit of the top off way up high. Using outboard EQ does, in a way, some people might not dig it because you know, there's no recall and all that stuff, but to me, I find committing it in a way is no different than if you were just tracking and committing it. And sometimes, to me, certain things, there's just not that edginess in certain plugins. I mean, plugins nowadays are so awesome, but there's times where I get stuff, you know, handed to me. I mean, it's stuff I track too, but sometimes I get stuff handed to me, and I just get to the sound faster using hardware. So the snare top. Okay, and then snare bottom. together. Let me drive this harder. Try this one really hard a second. You hear that little crunch? EQ is in. I'm going to take that ring out a little bit. I always want to add more bottom to snare. I don't know if it's growing up listening to Mutt Lang. I don't like when it's thinned out. I want to hear that thud in the bottom. So it's out. I mean, and remember, all these examples I've shown today, we haven't even gone into like using a compressor, then maybe putting another EQ after that even if you need to, or whatever. I mean, you're just hearing raw track going into this EQ and back in the box. I can make this stiffer, more balanced and punchier if I go through a, you know, a DBX or a distressor or whatever compressor. So let's hear kick and snare raw again. That's raw. Different sound. Back off some of the distortion driving it. Let's try this on Rich's vocal too. Let's see where he's at here. All right, he's already set up looped. So he's going through this channel. I'm going to set it flat. I had a Neumann U48 at the studio back then. We were using, obviously, on vocals a lot. But on him, he sounded better through a KSM32 into a Calric, a Brent Averill Calric mic pre-EQ.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes.
Okay. Again, I mean, we were driving him kind of hard too. There was a distressor.
So hold your nose and take.
Compressing him, so.
You should know I don't swim alone. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, tell me it's real. It's not what I feel today. I know. Well, tell me I feel something you have today. An unexpected quality.
All right.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes.
I would DS this a lot, probably. It's a little spitty for sure at the top now. To, you know, it's just
So hold your nose and take a breath.
so funny.
You should know.
Listening to old tracks, what I had compared to the way I track nowadays.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, tell me it's real. It's not what I feel today. I know.
So let's see what happens if I have an LA2A patched in here in the patch bay. Let me see, I'm gonna throw that on.
Have today an unexpected quality.
So that's the Neotek.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes. Well, tell me it's real. It's not what I feel today. I know.
Okay.
Well, tell me I feel.
See if I can show it up here.
Something you have today. An unexpected quality.
Let me turn this one off a minute, and show the plug-in version. Same thing.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes. So hold your nose and take a breath. Well, you should know I don't swim in love.
Let me see if I can kind of set the same setting in a second.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes.
The plug-in doesn't want to compress as quickly as the hardware wants to compress quicker.
It's time to take another step. Well, you should know I don't wear your shoes.
So that's the hardware.
So hold your nose and take a breath. Well, you should know I don't swim alone. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's try Lenny's bass. He's playing a 5-string, but it had kind of a honkier sound in the mids. And let's see what the Neotek can do for that. I don't want to pull out too much lows, but put it on shelf and cutting down about 6K, boosting like maybe 900. In this scenario, I might add bottom here and then cut it later in the box. I gotta watch that rattle on his frets. Too much of that is definitely going to take too much of the note out. And I probably wouldn't even use this EQ for this song if I had to redo it with this bass. You got to go with the tool that works, you know. So here's his guitars off. So I'm going to set this EQ kind of flat again. This is, again, the buttons in are flat. So this is guitar 1 and guitar 2. Let's try driving these harder, like we did some of the drums. So here it is, a high pass. Pull these out, try it. And then the lows are up here now. So start it all flat, then we'll punch it in. So now let's try this. He's got this, well, not really a Leslie sound, but a Cordovox sound. He wanted to be kind of a rotary sound, and we had a Cordovox at the studio back then. And here it is flat real quick. It just comes up in a couple sections. So I'll put it on, and this is just the same settings we used a minute ago for the other guitars. So let's take some of that bottom out. Let's add mids to the. Let's say we wanted to round that off more. I'm going way up to like 12K. It's like 1K area. This is around 6K on the top. Now the camera's kind of in the way, I think, yeah. I'm gonna take the high pass back out. Flat again, and then back on. So let's try that on, he's got a riff guitar, like a solo guitar here. There's two pieces. Let's just do the first one here. Flat. So he's starting this part of the solo with a slide. So we just put this in on 13, so it's the second channel. Okay, same thing, flat first. I'm boosting 4K a lot here, cutting a little at 10K in the top. And then boosting like 300 hertz. Flat. Let's listen to the other section real quick. Really pushes that guitar forward. It's pretty neat. I want to try boosting like 8K here. So I just pulled this, I'm doing a shelf at 8K. This probably isn't the perfect context because nothing else is mixed. It's just, you know, raw track still. So the drums and stuff is not going to sit up very well. But just showing this guitar part. The older Neoteks not having transformers and stuff in them, and they still have a really cool bite to them and a neat sound. So that was part 2 of the Neotek Series II EQ. Thanks, Rich, for letting me use your older tracks. And thanks for watching part 1, possibly in part 2. Please subscribe, check back for the next gear video or whatever I got coming. Thanks a lot.